Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans and you're watching the John Cedars channel from the bunker, and in this video we have another voicemail. This one is from a PIMO. Now for those of you who don't know, PIMO or PIMO stands for physically in, mentally out. In other words, we're talking about a Jehovah's Witness who no longer believes and is having to stay in the organisation despite having doubts, probably to keep friends and family happy. Anyway, let's listen to what they have to say.
Hey Lloyd. So let me introduce myself. I am a 25-year-old ministerial servant, PIMO, from an undisclosed location in the Caribbean. So I've been going through this process of discovery and I'm trying to find the truth about the organization for over a year now. And I must say that you've had an important role in this process. So I first of all would like to wholeheartedly thank you for your work and for everything you've been doing to help so many people like me. I would also like to apologize in advance because English is not my first language, so I'm sorry if I say something strange or my accent is kind of weird. I'm sorry about that. And finally, I would like to say that if you want to use this voicemail and broadcast it somehow in some of your videos, you feel free to do so. You can do it if you want to. Of course, I'm not gonna disclose my identity, but of course you can, however, use the voicemail if you want to. Actually, I would like to hear what you have to say about this situation. Of course, if it's possible. So let me cut to the chase because I know I only have 5 minutes here. So there's a girl. There's a Jehovah's Witness girl that I have a very intense attraction toward. And she seems to have a very intense attraction towards me as well. Now, I met her 6 years ago in a trip to Europe that I made. The moment I met her, we clicked, and we very soon developed a very intense infatuation for one another. When I returned from Europe, we kept in touch for 2 years. Now, I was very young by then. I was 19 years old, so I didn't try to push the relationship, but at the same time, I couldn't help to want to talk to her very often. And I remember we used to message each other every day, you know, and voicemails and in pictures and so after 2 years, the situation sort of cooled down a little bit and slowed down. But the thing is that just recently she started to contact me again, and now she's more intensely implying that she would like to be with me and get to know me. And of course, the problem is, as I said, that I myself feel a great attraction and very deep feelings towards her. Now, she's a very spiritual sister, at least from the standpoint of the organization. She's a very faithful one. She is a regular pioneer, and she's very active. And of course, she doesn't know at all about the process I'm going through, about my current thoughts on the organization. So, of course, I'm sure you can see the problem here, right? There's a clash between, I guess you could say, my heart and my mind at this point. You know, my heart is telling me that I might miss out on something beautiful if I don't pursue a relationship with this girl that I really, really like, both inside and out. And of course, my mind is telling me that it's just not the right thing to do, especially in this moment. It wouldn't be a loving thing to do towards her and also towards myself. So I guess I would really love to hear your thoughts on this, if possible, if you want to, if you have the time, if you want it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that has ever been in such a situation, in one way or another, you know, whether someone is already in a relationship with someone or even married to someone. I'm sure many people had to decide to choose between their partners and their conscience, you know. So yeah, I guess that's it, Lloyd. Thank you very much once again for what you do. Regardless of you answering or not answering this, I just want to say thank you, and please keep up the good work.
Well, thank you, and you're very welcome. And wow, what a message. It feels very much as though I have been cast into the role of agony aunt here. And probably right from the beginning, it's worth noting that only you can decide, really. I am very, very reticent to give relationship advice or any kind of advice that, quite frankly, could lead to babies either being born or not being born. This is a huge deal. And ultimately, you need to make the call. I can share a few things that immediately sprang to mind while you were sharing your experience or your predicament, because maybe it's useful to just get an outside perspective in case that's helpful in your decision-making process. Now, one of the interesting things for me, and I've listened to this message twice now, is that when you're describing this girl, you never once say that you love her, and yet you've known her for 6 years. That kind of is quite telling. You say you really, really like her. You say you have an intense attraction or an intense infatuation or deep feelings. But for some reason you shy away from saying that you love her. I suppose central to what you decide to do should be whether your feelings for this girl are pure infatuation or whether they are in fact love. Because if it's love, then that's a bit different. That's a bit more serious. If it's just that you are attracted to her and could imagine perhaps one day loving her, is it really something that you need to think about too deeply? If, on the other hand, let's say that you actually do love her, you just don't like getting all mushy on a voicemail to the John Cedars channel. Let's say you do love her. Let's say this is someone that you would like to have a relationship with because you've known her for 6 years. It's interesting that you say that she's implied that she would like to get to know you. The fact that after 6 years she still needs to get to know you suggests that really she doesn't know you at all, or she knows you very little. And probably in her mind, you are a very, very spiritual, very devout Jehovah's Witness. She will be looking upon you as a ministerial servant. You mentioned that you're in the Caribbean. I hope you don't mind if I do a little bit of sleuthing and suggest that maybe you're a need greater. Maybe you are seen by her as someone who is kind of on the frontier, doing lots of good in Jehovah's organization, preaching where there's a great need. So in her mind, you and the religion are inseparable. She likes you to a large degree because of your connections with Jehovah's Witnesses, or because in her mind you are a believing Jehovah's Witness. Not just a believing Jehovah's Witness, but an exemplary Jehovah's Witness, a ministerial servant who is doing important things in parts of the world where the good news needs to be preached. So she's at a huge disadvantage there. And it seems to me that if you really do care about her and you really, dare I say, love her, you should be honest with her, and let the chips fall where they may. If I were in your shoes, and again, I'm not telling you what to do, only you can decide what to do. If I were in your shoes, I would be very tempted to write a nice, long, handwritten letter. Girls love handwritten letters. Trust me on that one. I would write a nice, long, handwritten letter along the lines of, I'm getting the impression that you would like to get to know me more. Well, here I am telling you about me. And I would just be completely honest in that letter about where things stand. Now, it could be because of your predicament that you don't feel you can be honest with her, because maybe there would be ramifications. Maybe she would then not just break off her interest in you, but also kind of mobilize elders against you and make your life very difficult. Well, if you feel that's a possibility, maybe the best thing to do is to just completely block her out. What's the word? Ghosting? Maybe it's worth ghosting her. If things are really serious and there's a chance that you could end up being outed as a quote-unquote apostate by being honest. If, however, you feel you can be honest, or you feel there's a way of communicating your doubts to her in a way that wouldn't set the alarm bells off, I just think honesty is the best policy. If you're going to have a relationship with anyone, there needs to be honesty. There needs to be transparency. You don't want a situation, really, where you both end up getting into a relationship and then get married so that you're committed to each other forever. And then, oh, by the way, this whole Jehovah's Witness thing, I don't really believe in it. You know, that would be, I'm sure you agree, that would be an absolute, no-go. And even though I am not giving you advice, that's one area in which I can give you advice, is to not get married to someone who thinks you're in a religion when really you're not. So I think that's kind of a basic thing that most people watching this video would agree with. But yeah, in terms of what to do, a lot really depends on how strongly you feel about this girl, whether it is love or whether it's just infatuation. And if it is love, if you're really, really serious about her, and only you will know how serious you are, honesty. Honesty is the best policy. And if you don't feel you can be honest because it would blow your fade, then you might just have to let this one go, quite frankly, for her sake as well as for yours. But isn't it sad that this organization, with its shunning, with its stigmatization of apostates, with the way it controls people's lives and controls people's minds, isn't it sad that they have orchestrated this situation so that two people who like each other have to even think about these issues, have to even think about the potential for heartache further down the line? So hopefully something I've said there is useful for you. Perhaps this is a good opportunity to wish you all the very best in your fade. The good news is you are still young. You're still only 25. And lots of people watching this video would give their arm or give a great deal to have woken up when they were still so young and still had their lives ahead of them. And one thing I will say, as someone who can remember vividly what it was like to be 25 as a Jehovah's Witness and have his options severely restricted, is that it may seem at the moment like it's the end of the world, or it may seem at the moment like you're in this impossible situation and You know, there's no real solution. But once you get out and once you are finally free, which arguably is your priority at the moment, is getting yourself free, you may be surprised at just how easy it is to find someone if you're willing to put forth the effort. And when I think back on my youth, you know, there were lots of girls who I was interested in, you know, when I was a young Jehovah's Witness. And they come and go, quite frankly. When you find the person that's right for you, you'll know. There'll be no doubt about it whatsoever. And the relationship that you build with that person will be based on transparency and honesty. So again, I hope some or all of this has been helpful. Good luck with your fade. I'm delighted to hear that my content has been in some way helpful for you. And yes, consider your voicemail answered. Viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the John Cedars channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.